Okay, this is lesson 2.3 to 2.4. We are talking about adding and subtracting rational expressions. So first of all, let's remember how to add and subtract fractions. The whole thing is about a CD. What are we talking about here? CD. Common denominator. Good job. Common denominator. Yep. Matt? You're stretching? Okay. So, these guys, there's a couple different ways where you can find lowest common denominator, and remember, one of them is on our calculator. We weren't allowed to show you in grade 10, but we are allowed to show you now. So you can find least common multiple and lowest common denominator on your calculator. It's the math button. Go over the top to number, and then scroll all the way down, and it's the last one, GCD, number 9. So, lowest common denominator, we're going to take a look. Sorry, hang on, that's greatest common factor. We want number 8, not 9. Math, number 8. That's what we want. So I go 3, 5, and it's going to give me 15. So it's going to give you your lowest common denominator. Lowest common multiple is the same thing as lowest common denominator. Okay, LCM. Now, remember we would use that bottom one, GCD, if we wanted to factor something out, looking for a greatest common factor. Okay? So those two you're allowed to use in here, but remember, your calculator can only do 2 numbers at once, it won't do 3. Alright, so we know this guy's 15. So what we've got to do is find out what you would multiply to the top or bottom to make 15. So this guy multiplies by 5 here and the top. The other side multiplies by 3 to the bottom and the top. So we're going to end up with 25 plus 30 all over 15. And then we've got to add the top. So now we're going to get 55 over 15, and we just math bracket and reduce it lower, and we're going to get 11 over 3. Okay, always circle or box your final answers so that when you're looking through your notes, you know where to find it. Otherwise, it might get a little confusing for you sometimes. Alright, we're going to do the same thing to number 2, between 7 and 2 on the bottom. We're going to use 14. So I'm just going to do my work over here for number 2. So I want a 14 on the bottom. So that means I'm going to take over here and I'm going to multiply this side by a 2. And I'm going to multiply this side by a 7. So that's going to give me a 4 minusing 7. So that's going to give me a negative 3 over 14. Final answer. Okay, that's as low as number 2 goes. Is it okay if I erase number 1, the red stuff? Everybody done with the red? Yeah. Okay. Okay, if we take a look at number 3, 2 and 3, if we just multiply them, we get 6 for a bottom. So this guy multiplies by 3 on the left and multiplies by 2 on the right. So we're going to get 3 plus 4 on top of 6, which is going to give us 7 over 6. Final answer. Okay, 7 over 6, final answer. Now we're just going to take a look at number 4. So, number 4, this one, I don't have to multiply both bottoms because 10 can be my common denominator. Sometimes you get expressions where you don't even have to touch one of them. And this is one of those. So, I would only multiply to the right-hand side times them both by 5. That's going to give me my common denominator of 10. And over here, I have my 11. And then these two have to multiply to give me my negative 15. That's going to give me a negative 4 over 10, which reduces to negative 2 over 5. Okay, so make sure you always reduce fractions. That's super important. So remember, not every expression is going to have to be multiplied. Sometimes you have one that's already got the denominator you need. So we're going to deal with, first of all, monomial bottoms, okay? So these are all monomial denominators. So what are the steps? So first one, find a common denominator. Always first step. Then we change to equivalent fractions with our common denominator. So we find out what makes the common denominator, and we multiply the top what's missing. That's what step 2 is. We add or subtract the numbers, whatever the symbol in between is. We reduce if possible, and we have to always state the restrictions. The restrictions are the NPVs. Okay? All right. Do I have to factor anything on the monomials? Never. So these ones you can straight up do your non-permissibles right away. So what is x not allowed to be on A? 0. So we'll get that done right away. What about x and y on the right, on B? What are they not allowed to be? 0. So x comma y cannot be 0. On the right, x cannot be 0. Typically with monomials, it's always just 0. Okay? Now we're trying to find out what would create a common denominator. So before, when we had a 3 and a 2 on the bottom, we needed to make a 6. Well, we've got the same situation here, only we've got a variable as well. So with variables, you need to take the most amount. So here, that means I need to take an x squared. So this guy is going to multiply by 3x squared, top and bottom. And the left-hand side is going to multiply by 2. And that's going to give me a common denominator of 6x squared. Okay? I need 6x squared on there. So now, I'm going to, whatever I times by 3x squared, to make my 6x squared, that's what I multiply at the top. So I had to multiply it by 2. So I'm multiplying my 5 by 2 to give me a 10. Okay? Now we're going to multiply the 3x squared times the x. Well, that's going to give us a positive 3x cubed. There's nothing we can do. We can't add like terms. There are no like terms. This is our final answer. So with monomials, you end up with strange looking numerators sometimes. Yes? Yes, because when we multiply, we add exponents. So we had x squared and then x to the 1. We had to add that x to the 1. Yes. Yeah, you have to simplify to one fraction. Now, with this, am I allowed to take away a couple x's? It looks like you can. Do you think we can? It has to be present in both terms up top. Okay? The top is considered a binomial. So whatever's reduced from here has to be identical to be reduced from the bottom. So if I want to reduce x squared, it's got to come out of that 10 as well, and the 10 doesn't have any. Okay? So that's as low as you go. All right, looking at the next one. The next guy there has a 15 and a 6. So if we take our handy-dandy calculator and we say, all right, I want the LCM, second enter, I want to retype it. So I want to do 6 comma 15. What's it going to give me? Any guesses? 30. Oh, my greatest common denominator. Or sorry, lowest common denominator. So it's going to give me 30. So that means they both divide evenly into 30. So what makes 30 on the bottom here? 6 times what is 30? 5. Good. So I need to multiply by a 5. Now, how many x's do you see on the bottom? One side has 1, the other side has 2. You always need to take the most. So how many do we need? 2. So that means the other guy needs another x. Okay, so you need to have 2 of them. So we're trying to find the common denominator, which we have found is 30, and we need x squared, and there's a y. Because one side has a y. You have to take everything that's different, and that's part of your common denominator. And when they're monomials, you just multiply them. So now, we've got our common denominator. We decided what we needed to multiply to the top left. So 1 times 5x is just our 5x. Now we've got to deal with this 2 on the right-hand side. What do I multiply by 15 to get 30? 2. So I need to times this guy by 2. Do I have enough x's there? Yes, I need x squared. Do I have any y's here? Do I need any? Yes, I need one more y. So I'm going to multiply the top by a 2y. Okay? Now this negative here is going to apply to that 2. It's actually a negative 2. So that's negative 2 times 2y is going to give you negative 4y. Okay? Now there's nothing you can reduce from the top. Absolutely nothing. Because they are not like terms on top. One's got an x, one's got a y. Okay? So they are not like terms. Yep.
If the 5 with the 6, can you take out?
Yes. So, the question that was just asked, if this 5 was an even number, like the 4 and the 30, if they were all even numbers, could you reduce them? Yes, and you must. So if that guy there was a 6, you would reduce them all by 2. Yep.
If the difference of squares.
Then you would factor it. You betcha. Yeah, you always factor to see how low you can go. Yeah, you bet. Okay, so that will be your final answer on that one. Let's take a look at this last question. So what do you think we need for a common denominator? Between 8 and 4. What do you think the digit is between 8 and 4? 8, right? Okay, so I need an 8 on the bottom. Look at my variables. How many x's should I need? 2. You take the most. So I need 8x squared on the bottom. So that means now I look at the left-hand side. Do I need to multiply by anything? No, it's already got an 8x squared. So I just put my 3 there. Now I look at the top right-hand side. What is missing on the bottom right? A 2x. Because if I multiply 4 times 2, I'm going to get my 8. x1 times x1 gives me my x squared. So what's missing over here is 2x on the bottom and 2x on the top. So now I'm going to multiply that 2x to the 1, which gives me a positive 2x. So this is my final answer. There is nothing I can reduce. Unless that 3 was an even number, just like the other question. If it was an even number right here, the 2 and the 8 and that other number could reduce. If they're all even numbers. It's like a fraction. 2 over 4 gives you 1 over 2. Okay, you're just reducing. All right, let's take a look at a few more examples. These ones have monomial bottoms. Okay? What is the non-permissible for the first one? X can't be 0. Perfect. So X can't be 0. Does it already have a common denominator? Yes. So if it already has a common denominator, you're just adding like terms on top. So I'm going to group my x's together because I can add them together. So 7 and 5 give me 12 x's. And now I've got a 1 and a negative 2. That's going to give me a negative 1. All on top of x. Okay, so all we had to do was add the top because they had the same bottom already. Okay, so when they've already got the common denominator, half of the work is already done. You just have to add the top. Okay? Letter E. Do we have a variable in the denominator? No. So do we have any non-permissibles? No. So how do we say that? XCR. Good. So what would I multiply? What would be in common between 6 and 4? 12. Good. So what do I multiply by 6 to get 12? 2. 2. So I'm going to multiply this by 2 and the top over there by 2. What do I multiply 4 by to get 12? 3. So I'm going to times this guy by 3 and that side by 3. Alright, that means if there's a binomial, we have to open a bracket. It goes inside. So now I've got this. 2 bracket, 2x minus 1, plus 3 bracket, 3x plus 2, all on top of 12. Okay, that's our common denominator. Now we're just multiplying into the brackets. So we'll multiply in slowly here. Not lose anybody. So we're going to get 4x subtract 2. The right-hand side is going to give us a positive 9x plus 6. And again, it's all over 12. What? It's all over 12. All I did was multiply in, got my answer. Multiplied in, got my answer. So this matches this. And this matches this. Is that better? So you can see what happened with the numbers?
Do you have to write it out where it's been 2x minus 1?
If you know that step, you can skip to there if you know. That's fine. Some people will be able to do that, yeah. Alright, so from this point, we're now going to add like terms on top. So add our x's, 9 and 4, give us 13x. Add the digits, negative 2 plus 6 gives us positive 4. All on top of 12. That's as low as we go. We can't go any further. If that 13 was an even number, we'd reduce all 3 digits, but it's not. So that's as far as we go for letter E. Okay, so that would be our answer for letter E. Any questions so far on the monomial denominators? What you're trying to do is create your common denominator and then multiply what's missing. Okay, multiply what's missing. Am I allowed to erase the blue now almost? Not quite? Okay, letter F. This is one of those situations where one side is already created into the common denominator. So my common denominator here is going to be 6y squared. So the one side already has it. Okay? All we're doing is looking between the digits, the digit 2 and the digit 6. If you were to put it in your calculator and you wanted to find the lowest common denominator between 6 and 2, it would tell you 6. So we've got our common denominator, it's a 6. Then you take the most of the variables. Here it has 2, here it has 1, so you need 2. Okay? Now you multiply the side that doesn't have them. So this guy needs a 3 and a y. And the guy on the right-hand side already has the common denominator, so you don't change him. He stays the same. So now the 3y multiplies to that 1, becomes 3y. Now we put the other side on top, plus 9y subtract 6. Now we got to add like terms on top. So we're going to add the y's, and that's going to give us 12y minus 6 over 6y squared. What do you notice, peeps? You can reduce the digits. Okay? Why can't we reduce the variable? Why can't we reduce the variable? Yes, the top is a binomial, and the 6 doesn't have a y. Okay, it's a binomial, but yes, that's part of the reason, but it's because the 6 doesn't have a y. If they both have y's, you could reduce the y's as well. But because they don't, all we can reduce, because this is again fractions, all we're reducing is the 6's and the 12. They all divide by 6. So that becomes a 1, that becomes a 1, that becomes a 2. A lot of people might forget this part right here. You cannot forget that part. That's super necessary. Okay? So our final answer is going to be 2y minus 1 all over y squared. That will be your final answer. Okay? Pardon? No, because the 1 doesn't have a y. All of the top has to have the variables to reduce it. Okay? All right. Okay, now we're dealing with binomial denominators. So we have a couple examples here. The very first one has a common denominator already. So when we have a common denominator, just like we did in the previous questions, all we're doing is adding or subtracting the top. Now this is a subtract sign, so it's going to go in between those guys. So we're going to have an x minus 3 on top of x minus 3. Now, what can not be the denominator here? What's my MPD? Non-divisible. Can't be positive 3. So x cannot equal positive 3. Okay. Now, am I able to reduce that question completely?
Yeah.
Yes. But remember, each of them have a hidden 1.
Yeah.
So 1 divided by 1, if you reduce all of the common factors, the answer of 1 has to stay, because they have hidden 1s in front. So the answer is 1, because these completely cancel. Okay? Those completely cancel, because they're identical top and bottom.
Yeah, I was kind of confused because it's like 2x minus 3 is on the bottom. Yeah, there's like x minus 3 on top and 2 on the bottom.
Where's the 2? In your book?
No,
He's saying there's
two,
just 2 of the x minus 3's on the bottom.
Oh, no, there's not 2 of them. No, there's just 1 of them. Because we're, just like with the other questions, we're looking for a common denominator. So this is a binomial now. Okay? So we have to match binomials. So we're looking for a binomial x minus 3 to match. And this guy's got an x minus 3, so he matches right away. So that means we can just deal with the top.
okay.
Okay? All right, good question. Everybody pay attention, please. So now with these binomials, you got to match a binomial together. They go together as a group. Okay? So this one on the right is almost worked out for you. So this guy, we have x subtract 2, and then we have an x plus 2. Because they're different, you have to use them both. So the common denominator is both of them, you'll see. So what they're going to do then, because they're different, if they're different, you have to use them both. Just like the questions we had that had x2 and y, they were different, you had to use them both. So now these guys are different, you've got to use them both, but you multiply to the top what part was missing. So on the bottom here we had an x plus 2 missing, that's what they've got up here, multiplying that 5. Over here we had an x minus 2 missing, that's what they've got multiplying right here. Okay, so they've shown you the first couple steps. Now we've got to actually multiply into the brackets. All right, now this negative sign is going to go with that 3. Okay, just so you know. So these are very, very interesting questions when they've got a subtract sign in the middle, because that subtract actually goes with that 3. That's a negative 3 when you multiply it in. So this is how we remove the bracket. So now we're going to get 5x plus 10 minus 3x plus 6, because we have a negative times a negative. That's giving us a positive 6 here. All on top of our common denominator, x plus 2, x minus 2. Now you got to keep your denominator. It doesn't disappear. Now we've got to add the top. So we're going to add like terms. So you're going to add your x's together, and then you add your digits, the constants together. So we're going to get 2x plus 16 all over x plus 2, x minus 2. At this step, you would try to factor the top to see if it matched anything on the bottom. Because if it did, then you could reduce like a fraction. 5 over 10 equals 1 over 2. You could do that if the top factored into one of these. The top doesn't, so that's your final answer. Now, you could try to factor it because maybe the multiple choice question has the factored answer. So maybe they've got this, x plus 8, all on top of the same bottom, x plus 2, x minus 2. So it depends on what the question's asking you. They might factor out the 2, they might not. But you always try to, because if they match top and bottom, you can wipe them off again. Remember, we can reduce that. Okay? But we can't reduce till the very final stage. What was our non-permissibles for this question? X can't be what? Right, plus and minus 2 for that question. Okay? Alright, we got a few more examples left. Let's take a look at C. Now, C already has a common denominator. Okay? So C, I'm able to just look at the top and I can add the top together right away. Okay? Because the bottom matches. Does everybody see that my bottom here matches? Okay? So that means I'm taking this and I'm just going to add it. But what do you notice we have again? A negative sign. That negative sign is going to change these guys' signs. So that's going to be a negative 8 and a plus 2m. Because that's like a negative 1 multiplying in that bracket. Whenever you've got a binomial, that negative sign, it does go to the first one, but it's going to multiply that second term as well. And a negative times a negative there will make that a positive. So, our bottom's identical, 4m minus 3. So now we're just going to add the tops. 10m minus 1, minus 8, plus 2m's. Okay? Alright, what does that give me? How many m's do I have if I add them up together? 12. So I have 12 m's and how many digits? Minus 9. Good. All on top of 4m minus 3. Now, is there anything I could factor out of the top? 3. We have to GCF at 3 because watch. If I GCF at 3 out, I'm going to get 4m minus 3 just like the bottom. So before we cancel our bottom out, we forgot to do non-permissible. What would the non-permissible be for that one? Positive 3 over 4. So x cannot be 3/4. Because remember, you're making the bracket equal to 0. If that doesn't make sense to you, literally just make the bracket equal to 0. So you're going 4m minus 3 equals 0. Take the 3 across. 4m equals 3. Divide out your 4. So it's going to be 3 over 4. Okay, so whenever you get confused, make it equal to 4. Or sorry, equal to 0. Okay, so now we're going to find that the tops and the bottom can cancel. What do I have left over? 3. 3. Good. So my answer for that question is just positive 3. Okay? Now on letter D, they've done us a great favor and they've already done our common denominator for us. So all we've got to do is add the top numbers together. Now, when we do that, this guy's got a negative sign again. And this negative sign is going to go with that 8. So it's actually a negative 8. So, I'm just going to erase all this. Can I erase this stuff for you guys? Yeah? Okay? Alright. Looking at D. So, all we're doing is literally adding like terms in the top because the bottoms are identical already. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the stuff that's the same. So I'm going to find my x. There's a negative x and a negative 2x. I can add them together. So I've got 2x squared minus 3x, and now I've got a 3 I have to add to the negative 8, which gives me a negative 5. All over x minus 3, x plus 1. And now I'm going to diamond the top one. Because the diamond, when I do the diamond on it, it's going to reduce one of the factors. So if I diamond this guy, I'm going to have negative 10, negative 3, negative 5, and 2. Okay. 2 divides by 2. 5 will divide by 1. So, this becomes first. So, this guy, we're on D. So, we're going to get a minus 5 and a plus 1. So, 2x minus 5 and x plus 1. That's what that's going to factor to. Now, with the diamond, that's what this gives you right here on top. Okay? So, this right here is this diamond right here. Alright. What are the non-permissibles? 3 and negative 1. Alright, so x now be 3 and negative 1. Perfect. Alright, what can I reduce? X plus 1s. If they're identical, they disappear. So that goes away. Your final answer. 2x minus 5 over x minus 3. You can keep brackets around them. You don't have to, but you can. It might remind you that they're a binomial. You're not allowed. I get kids doing this all the time. Where you'll be like, oh yay, x on top and bottom. They get rid of them. They add the top, end up with a fraction, and x is gone. You're not able to do that, you guys. These are binomials. So these go together, these go together. You're only allowed to reduce them if they match identical. Okay, just like the x plus 1s did. So we got rid of. Okay? Alright, 3 more examples. You ready? Letter E, F, and G. Alright, letter E. They did the lowest common denominator for us. They tell us it's x plus 1 and x minus 1. Okay, so we've got our common denominator. Does one side have it and the other side doesn't? Is that safe to say? Yeah, one side has 2 factors, one side has 1. So that means I'm going to multiply the other guy by what he's missing. So this guy's missing the x plus 1 on the top and the bottom. So that's what will be multiplied to him. Okay? So now my bottom is x plus 1, x minus 1, and now I'm going to multiply into the bracket. And again, what do they love to do to you? Always, always put a negative sign between them. And they do it on purpose. Because they want to know, if you're watching carefully, to multiply that negative into that bracket. Okay, because sometimes those negatives will catch you. So, we're going to end up with 2x, subtract 4x, subtract 4. So now we're going to add like terms. We can add the x's together. That's going to give me negative 2x subtract 4 all over x plus 1, x minus 1. Now, if I factor a negative 2 out of there, because maybe they did the answer, you'd have x plus 2, and then here you'd have x plus 1, x minus 1. Both of these are considered correct answers. It depends on what the question asks. Okay, if you factor the top, that's awesome, because you're trying to check and see if anything else common factor reduces. And there are no other common factors that reduce. Okay?
For example, with these diamonds at all.
You can't diamond it because there's no x squared. Yeah, you need an x squared for a diamond. So here we can only just GCF the 2. Okay? All right. Let's take a look at F. F and G are considered standard of excellence. They don't look that hard, but they're doozies. So, if you need extra room, or you like to write big, you're going to need some room. Just so you know. Okay, so letter F and G are considered standard of excellence, so if you want to highlight them or put SE beside them, they are standard of excellence questions. SE, SE. Okay, so I'm going to take letter F to a full page on our own. Okay? All right, letter F. We've got 3 over 3x plus 9 minus 16x over 4x minus 12. The first step is to always factor the bottom to see if they have common factors, right? So we're going to GCF the bottom. There's no x squareds to do diamonds, so that we have to do just GCF it. So here we're going to GCF a 3 out and get x plus 3. Here we GCF a 4 out and get x minus 3. So we have an x plus 3 and an x minus 3. We have a 4, we have a 3. Nothing is the same. Everything is different. So because everything is different, we're just going to basically cross multiply. What that means is, instead of me multiplying this 3 and then the bracket, I'm just going to take this and multiply it over. Because my common denominator is going to be everything you see in red. I have to use everything in red as my common denominator because everything is different. And if it's all different, you got to use it all. So, this side has those two factors, this side does not, so he's going to multiply by that guy. This side over here doesn't have those two, so he's going to multiply by this one. So this guy's multiplying up there. Okay? So, it's going to look like this. So we're going to have 3 times 4x minus 12 minus 16x times 3x plus 9 all over 12 x plus 3 x minus 3. So one thing we have to do with our common denominator is we have to multiply the digits if we have digits. And we have digits, so we have to multiply them, and that's how we get our 12 on the bottom for our common denominator. Okay, so that's how we get our 12 there. So, now what we've got to do is multiply into the brackets. Okay, yep, oh my gee. That's going to give us a lot of x's. So, multiplying in. So we're going to have 12x minus 36. Now this is a negative 16x. So this is going to give us negative 48x squared minus 144x. All on top of the common denominator. 12, x plus 3, x minus 3. Okay, that's your common denominator. We multiplied in the brackets and removed brackets. Now we have to add like terms. So we're going to add things that are the same. So we're going to add the x's to the x's. Okay? So this guy is going to give us, I'm going to start with my x squared, negative 48x squared minus 132x minus 36, all on top of 12, x plus 3, x minus 3. Now we've got to do a common factor out of the top. What number does the top divide by? So basically what you're trying to do, we're trying to reduce the number 12 on the bottom. So try and look and see what number is always on the bottom. We're trying to reduce that. So what you try to do is see if the top numbers divide by that evenly. Do the top numbers all divide by 12? Yeah, they do. So, and 12 would be actually the greatest common factor in this case. So we're going to have this. We're going to take out a negative 12. Why would we take out a negative 12 instead of positive 12? Because they're all negative, and that's a rule, guys. If they're all negative, you divide the negative out. So we're dividing negative 12 out at the top. We're going to get 4x squared plus 11x plus 3. They all turn positive. And then on the bottom, 12x plus 3, x minus 3. And now I would try to diamond this, and there's no factors for it, so that's not factorable. So the only thing that we can do to reduce it is what? What do you see we can reduce?
12.
Just the 12s. So we can only reduce the 12s. So your answer would be negative bracket 4x squared plus 11x plus 3, all on top of x plus 3, x minus 3, final answer. So that's a standard of excellence question. That would be worth like 4 marks if it was a written question. That's a lot of work to get there. Okay? Right. We did forget NPVs. So from this step up here, what are the non-permissibles? Plus and minus 3. So x cannot be plus and minus 3. Thanks. We couldn't forget that step. All right, our last question of the lesson, and again, it's another long one. It's another scroll-a-thon. You ready? Ooh, that. Okay, here we go. Okay, here's letter G. We've got 3 minus x over x plus 3, subtracting x minus 2 over x minus 3. Okay. So first of all, do you see that I have an x plus 3 and x minus 3, they're different? Okay, since they're different, I need to use both of them for the common denominator. So the common denominator is going to be x plus 3, x minus 3. So now I'm going to multiply to the top whatever is missing. So the left-hand side is missing x minus 3. The right-hand side is missing x plus 3. Now, on the top here, this guy's backwards. I want him to have the x first. So I'm going to actually divide a negative out of that bracket. You want to have x first. So I'm going to put a negative sign here, and then I'm going to reverse those guys. X minus 3. Okay? So now on top you've got this. Negative sign. X minus 3 times x minus 3. Subtracting. X minus 2, x plus 3. So now we've got to do area boxes, or FOIL. Okay, whichever you prefer, area box or FOIL. So, left-hand side, we're going to area box the 2 brackets. We're going to forget about the negative till the end. Okay? Same with these guys. We're going to area box the right-hand side. We're going to forget about the negative in the middle till the end. So, I'm just going to show one of the area boxes over here. So x and negative 3, x and negative 3, x squared minus 3x minus 3x plus 9. Add those together. So this is going to give me negative x squared minus 6x plus 9, subtracting. Now I have to FOIL this guy. So I'm going to area box the guy on the right. So I have x minus 2 and an x plus 3. So I get x squared minus 2x, positive 3x minus 6. Those are the like terms. So we're going to have x squared plus 1x minus 6 in that bracket. All on top of our lovely common denominator, x plus 3, x minus 3. So at this step, this is now where we would multiply these negative signs in. Then we group like terms and see if we can factor. Okay? So I'm going to multiply that negative sign in and multiply that negative sign in. Okay? It's just going to flip-flop all the signs to the opposite. So this is going to become negative x squared plus 6x minus 9. The right-hand side, minus x squared minus 1x plus 6. All on top of x plus 3, x minus 3. Woo-ha. Now we have to add like terms. So like terms on top, we're going to add the x squareds together. So we're going to get negative 2x squared. How many x's do I have? Positive 5 x's. So you have a positive 6 and a negative 1. Now we're going to add the digits. Negative 9 plus 6 is a minus 3. All on top of x plus 3, x minus 3. And it doesn't diamond. Actually, it does diamond, but it doesn't produce anything. So, if we took a negative sign out, we'd have 2x squared minus 5x plus 3. And then diamond, 6, negative 5, negative 2, negative 3. Divided by 2, divided by 1. So, final answer. It's going to become negative sign. 2x minus 3. X minus 1. All on top of x plus 3, x minus 3. So, yes, it's a lot of work. That's why it's a standard excellence question. You had some x squared you have to deal with, which means you have to diamond. So there's a whole bunch of steps and a whole bunch of work. Are you going to see a lot of these? No. Will you see some? Yes, but not very many. So there's different stages of this question. For example, this is a possible right answer at this stage. For example, if it's a multiple choice question, look and see what they did to the top numbers. Did they factor a negative out? If so, maybe that's the one they put as a possible answer. If not, maybe they went right to the factored part and factored the top. You have to realize there's many different types of answers. Okay, so they may not have simplified all the way to the end. They might have stopped right here. Okay, so it depends on the question. Yes. Better? Yeah. Okay. All right, this concludes lesson 2.3 and 2.4 on adding and subtracting rational numbers.